Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to calculate the gradient of a straight line in a couple of the classic examples. Now in order to do this we use a rule, and the rule is this one here where we have m, which represents the gradient, and what we need is two sets of coordinate points. So these y's here, so we've got y2 and y1, they represent the y coordinates of your 2 points, and your x2 and your x1 down here represent the x coordinates of your 2 points as well. Now the subscript here doesn't actually do anything, but really it's just labeling which x and which y belong to each other. So x2 and y2 are from the same coordinate point, x1 and y1 are also from the same coordinate point. Now when you end up calculating your gradient is going to end up getting a number. So it could be a positive number, could be a negative, could be a fraction, could be zero, could be a lot of different things. And whatever the gradient is talking about the steepness of your line, and it's also talking the direction it's going in. So there's four scenarios which you will come across. The first one, if your gradient is a positive number, that means that from reading left to right, so from here going across, that your line is increasing, so it's going upwards from left to right. Now the bigger the number is, the steeper that line is going to be. The smaller the number that is, it's going to be a lot shallower. Now if your gradient is a negative, what that means is from left to right, so reading left to right, it is decreasing, so it's going down. If you find that your gradient is zero, what that means is that there is no steepness to your line, so what we have is a horizontal line going straight across. And if you end up getting an undefined line, which means that this bottom part of the fraction here is a zero, because you can't divide by zero, we can't give a number to the gradient, so we say it's undefined. Now a couple of examples. First example is sometimes you're going to be given a graph and it's going to actually specify 2 points. Now if the points aren't specified, you can pick whatever 2 points you want. You're still going to end up with the same gradient. So the first thing I do in all these questions is write the rule out. So the rule's m equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So once I've written my rule out, what I need to do is label my points. Now you need to make sure that you remember that the first number in your coordinate is the x, and the second number is your y coordinate. So I've got an x and a y, and I've got an x and a y. And now what I'm going to do is just label them with the 1s and 2s so I know which ones are together. So I'm going to call this one x1 and y1, and I'm going to call this one x2 and y2, just so I know they're together and they're together. Now all you need to do is substitute the right numbers into the appropriate letters in your rule. So y2 was the guy up here, which is the number 6, minus y1, which should be negative 12. So I'm going to sub in negative 12 divided by x2, which is this guy up here, which is 3, minus x1, which was negative 2 down here. And then you just need to plug through. So 6 minus negative 12 is 18. 3 minus negative 2 is 5. So my gradient is 18 on 5, which is a positive number, which makes sense that reading from left to right, it is increasing. Now you should simplify this fraction if you can, or if you wanted to, you could change it to a decimal as well. Alright, next example. Sometimes you're going to be given a graph, but it won't actually have the coordinate points in there, but it'll have enough information for you. So first thing I'm going to do is, again, write my rule. So we've got m equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. And now I need to label my points, but they're not actually written here yet. So my x-intercept 3, the coordinate of that point is 3 and 0, because I haven't gone up or down on my y-axis. This guy up here, the 4, my x-coordinate is 0, my y-coordinate is going to be 4. So now what I can do is label my points. So I'm going to call this one x1, y1, x2, y2, and then I just need to sub everything in. So y2 was 0 minus y1, which was 4, divided by x2, which was 3, minus x1, which is 0. And I'm going to end up with negative 4 on top of 3. And again, you can change that to a decimal if you like, and you can see it makes sense because going from left to right, it's going down, so I should have a negative. My gradient has a negative, so I know that I'm probably correct. Alright, last one. And this is probably the most common one. Sometimes you're not going to have a graph, they're just going to give you 2 coordinate points. So same as all the others. First thing you do, write down your rule. So you've got m equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, and then you just label your points even though you can't see your graph. So here can be x and y, x and y. I'll call these guys 1, and I'll call these guys x2, y2. Just sub everything in. So y2 was 3, y1 was 7, so 3 minus 7 divided by x2 was negative 2 minus x1, which was 5. 3 takes 7 is negative 4. Negative 2 minus 5 is negative 7. So the gradient of that line is negative 4 and negative 7. However, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, so it's going to be 4 on top of 7. And that's all for now. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.